Alright, what I'd like to do with this video is just show you one other application, one more document you can use in your calculators. And again, there's really hundreds of these documents you can use, but just show you one more that would apply to geometry. And so first I want to show you where we get these documents, and this would be on the teacher calculator, the teacher software. Up here in the top left corner you can kind of see content. If I click that, I go to this TI website that has just tons of content on all these different documents you can link to your TI-Nspire calculator. So I'll come over to subject, I'll choose math. There's also other subjects. It's probably math, science. I don't think it goes too much beyond that. And for topics, I'm going to choose geometry. In the first video I mentioned something about the sum of the angles of three angles of a triangle, and it always comes out to be a certain number. And I could create that activity, or I could look here in this library and find out somebody else has already created this for me. So I'm going to choose theirs, and I'll look through that and see if that looks good to me. So it's called the triangle sum theorem. And I'll open that up. And now my calculator pops up with the triangle sum theorem document. So if I came back here, that's my current document. So I've saved that to my calculator. You can easily link those to any student calculator, so everybody can have the same document. And just again, looking back at the content, that was geometry topics. Scroll down here, look at all these geometry topics. All these are free, really neat activities created by teachers for use by teachers. And like I say, free. So anytime a teacher comes up with something that's kind of cool, they happily share those with other teachers. And look here, maybe I want a calculus activity. Look at all the calculus activities. Boy, don't they look like fun. What is that? Higher order derivatives, maximums, limits at infinity. Look at all those. And so they have activities created for all the content that we have here at the high school to have these activities. So let's go back to our document here. Here's the one I'd like to show you, this triangle sum theorem. And so again, this first page is just informational, title page. Here's our page. Here's the triangle. You can see triangle ABC. And in the top right corner of your screen, you can see the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C. So angle A is 40, B is 106, C is 34. And look at that. That adds up to 180 degrees. Well, if you're a student, what you then do next is you touch this B. Let's move B around. And now look, I've changed B. B is 68, but that changed C. C is 72. I add those up, and it's still 180. And maybe you play around with it some more and say, wait, what if I make B 127, oh, C is 13, still 180. And so you kind of play around with that a little bit. And as you move B, you realize B changes, C changes, but it still adds up to 180. Well, maybe you're not happy with that, so whoever created this, put a little clicker over here, and we can choose A, change A. So maybe, how about when A is 28? Still adds up to 180. And then we can move B around, and in any of these different combinations here, the angles change, but the sum stays fixed at 180. And again, this is a theorem you can certainly tell kids, but once they're here hands-on playing with it, it has a lot more meaning to them because they love a challenge like this, and they love trying to beat the system. But in this case, look at those numbers change, but that 180 just does not change. You can easily follow this up with kids, as they're working with it. Once a kid has this, ask them other questions. What's the smallest you could make A? Could you go? How low can you go? What's the biggest you can make A? Why? How big can you make it? How small can you make it? So things like that. And again, you'd individualize it for the students. Kids that are getting things quicker, it's not, oops, scoot that back. It's not hard to come up with a different question, a harder question for them. Then on the next page, what this is getting at is it's trying to explain why this works. And it will relate it back to parallel lines. And it shows here a triangle ABC, and it shows how angle A has this corresponding angle up by that top line. And our angle C has a corresponding angle up by that line XY. And kids would already know in a line there's 180 degrees. So now they start to see that triangle as it relates to a line. And again, maybe they manipulate this, but they'll see that 44 stays 44, the 49 stays 49, change A. Now look, 36 with 36, 49 with 49. And they can start to discover on their own why the sum of the three angles in a triangle would equal 180. Why? Because they have equal angles in that line. In a line, the sum of the three angles, or the sum of the angles in a line, is 180. And there's a worksheet that goes with it that would explain it in more detail, but it allows the students, and let's see, can we move, don't know if we can move anything else on here, but it allows them to play around with that and see what changes, what stays fixed, but always the angle XBA and ABX end up the same, or angle CBY and ACB, those end up the same. And so as they play around with that, they can, again, see what changes, what stays fixed, and that allows them to get a better understanding and leads them right into this proof, which again the Common Core is looking at, not just knowing facts, but can you give reasons for your facts? Can you tell me why the sum of the three angles in a triangle is 180? And this activity lends itself right to that. So that will conclude the 3 videos. I appreciate your time in looking at this, and I had great fun playing around with this. There's a lot more I could have shown you, but I appreciate this, and if you want to see more of it, I'd be happy to show you more. Thank you.